All right, everyone. So Baker Mayfield just went absolutely nuclear on Kevin Stefanski. Here's what he said. Failed is quite the reach, pal. Still waiting on a text/call from him after I got shipped off like a piece of garbage. Can't wait to see you twice a year. Coach. He was responding to a tweet that said Kevin Stefanski had a dumpster fire at quarterback in Cleveland. Baker Mayfield and Deshaun Watson failed, which started a train reaction to 11 other starters. QB Shedeur Sanders close out last season with 7 starts. So clearly Baker's letting his thoughts on Kevin Stefanski known. Now, this is one of those situations where this is now going to be much watch TV next year, right? The duel between these two. And I do think, as we've said on this channel, as much as I did think the Giants' job was good, obviously the Ravens' job is also now very good. As much as I thought all of that, I think this was a sneaky good job. And I know everybody wants to always fixate on the quarterback, but the one thing that the Falcons have more than some of these other teams is that you know they got Bijan Robinson, they got Drake London on the offensive end. These are two. When you look at the Giants, there's a lot of projecting forward to what the team could be. Don't get me wrong, I would prefer to have the roster of the Giants, but when you look at Bijan and you look at Drake London, these are two guys that are just bona fide superstars. And so I think it's one of those things where even if I think the Giants' job is better, this one is right there. That's why Kevin Stefanski went there. Now, Baker is going to be with his team playing this Falcons team. This is one of those things. It's either going to be one of those moments we look back on and go, Baker called his shot, right? He called him out and he ended up winning. Or it's going to be one of those things we look back on and we go, man, that was really, a poor decision from Baker. Because just calling it how it is, I would give the edge to the Falcons right now after what we saw from um the Bucks this year. The Bucks had every chance to get in the playoffs, right? Baker was an MVP candidate earlier this year, and maybe he was injured. I get all of that, but it just the season didn't end the way you would have liked, and a big reason for that was the play of Baker Mayfield. And so, like I said, I understand why he's frustrated. There was a lot that went on in Cleveland, clearly, but if you go back to that time, I mean, there was there was not, the Baker Mayfield stock was at an all-time low. And so, look, one of those things you don't know the full truth of in terms of Stefanski and what he did. This is obviously Baker's side of the story, and he thinks it's not great. And maybe he goes on and they win a big division game next year and the Bucks are, a playoff team. Or it's a world in which the Bucks struggle again. You see big changes for the Bucks. And and I don't think this will age too well if that's the case. But we're gonna have to wait and see. Look, I was a big supporter of Baker. I actually had an MVP ticket this year. And obviously that went up in flames pretty quickly, right? I was feeling pretty good about it for the first few weeks of the year, and then that thing went a little bit nuts, right? And it went off the rails. But who knows for next season? But I thought this was just a super, super out of the blue. Didn't expect it, and now it makes both these games are going to be must watch next season.